from Taylorville, Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my first questions are going to go to Secretary Wyman. In spite of her inability to choose the right teams to root for in football, baseball, and now college basketball, in spite of Mr. Aguilar being from the LA area, I'm for the underdog. Go UCLA. Hey, Secretary, during the 2020 election, we sent numerous election observers and committee staff throughout the country to observe various congressional races before, on, and after Election Day. We identified similar issues in several states. No or very minor safeguards for mail balloting, lack of proper enforcement of signature verification, lack of voter list maintenance, and slow ballot counting. Can you, I got a couple questions first before I do want to ask you about your mail-in balloting processes, but can you, I'm sure you would agree with me that everyone's goal in any election is to ensure every eligible voter's able to cast a ballot, right? I mean,
Correct.
most people are voting, they're voting for good democracy. And you're not in the business as a Secretary of State of preventing lawful voters from voting, are you?
No.
How about your county auditors? Are they?
No.
Thanks. And in Washington State, you and your team have really worked hard to implement this vote by mail system. And you've been able to do that because Washington State gets to decide what works best for Washingtonians, right?
Correct.
Now, you're all mail-in state. You've been here before. Thank you for coming back. Always great to see you again. I'm proud to call you a friend. Walk us through how you moved to an all-mail system. How long did that take and what did it entail?
It took many years, and it really began in the early 1990s when we started allowing any voter to choose to be an absentee voter for all elections. By 2004, about 40 to 60%, depending on our counties, each county had permanent absentee voting status, and we had the closest governor's race in the country's history. Out of that, some of the election reform allowed our counties to choose to be vote by mail permanently. And that was about the time we were implementing the Help America Vote Act. So many counties moved in 2005, and it took another 5 years for the rest of the state to be mandated actually to move to vote by mail, because we do have some people in the state that do not like vote by mail elections. So we've been vote by mail since 2011. And in all of that time, we've been, like I said, working with our legislature and the 39 county auditors to really build in the security measures and the accessibility that our voters need.
Well, thank you. I'm really very proud of your testimony following the 2020 election that said voters need to know there's a logical beginning, middle, and clear and final end in any election. I appreciate you being here again, Kim. My next question, Ms. Diaz. In your testimony, you highlight 10 states that have significant increases in the number of Latino voters since 2008. My home state of Illinois being one with a 41.88% increase. Given this change in the Latino citizen voting age population, should Illinois use this data when drawing its new congressional districts?
Well, absolutely. When we think about redistricting, we really need to look at total population, and we also need to look at citizen voting age population. I think that Illinois needs to go beyond that, recognizing that there were various issues with the 2020 decennial census. And so we need to make sure that the households, particularly those that were hard to reach communities, those that are low income, with veterans, with children, are adequately counted. And I'll tell you why. As you know, this has a lot to do with political representation, but it also has to do with the allocation of resources. And I recognize that a lot of the comments right now from the Secretary of State are about local control. And I think that if resources are permitted from you and your committee members and the members of Congress to ensure that we have free and safe access to American democracy, then I think we can all get on board. So yes, I do think that data matters. I think that the growth of the Latino citizen
I got
population.
to reclaim my time. I apologize. I don't have much left. And although I really respect the chair, I know he's not going to give me any more. Do you think Illinois should draw another Hispanic congressional district with the large increase in Hispanic voters in Illinois and only one Hispanic majority elected member of Congress out of 18 districts right now?
I think that Illinois should follow the law and recognize that data in Section 2 really clarifies how one should integrate that data. I need to look at it. Again, the data will not be here. It's actually the latest data from the CIS. It's not to arrive until September. So
It is, Ms. Hayes, here in Illinois, our elected officials are going to be using estimated American Community Survey data to draw congressional maps and state legislative maps. And I would love to sit down with you and your organization to look ahead. I mean, I certainly hope that if this increase in Latin American population and voting age population in the state of Illinois is not part of the congressional redistricting process, I certainly hope your organization will be looking at filing lawsuits in the future. So with that, I'm out of time. I yield back and thank you for all of you for being here.